The lights above the auction platform were too bright. They made Yuna's eyes hurt. But she was not allowed to close them. The rules said she must look forward. She must stand straight. She must show her face to the crowd. This was the third time she stood on this platform. The third time in 6 months. Each time, she came back with a lower price tag hanging from the chain around her neck. Yuna was a fox hybrid. Her mother was a pure-blooded Kumiho from the forest planet of Daehan. Her father was a common worker from the mining colonies. Their love was forbidden. Their child was unwanted. She had soft silver hair that fell past her shoulders. Her eyes were golden like autumn leaves. 2 amber fox ears sat on top of her head, and behind her, hidden under a gray cloak, were 9 silver tails. In old stories, 9 tails meant power. In the modern galaxy, 9 tails meant mutation. It meant impure blood. It meant discount. The auction house on Station Korath was famous across 12 star systems. Rich buyers came here to find beautiful brides from exotic species. They wanted pure blood. They wanted perfect genetics. They wanted someone to show off at parties. Nobody wanted a half-blood fox girl with too many tails. Next item, the auctioneer said into his microphone. He was a fat man with green skin and 4 arms. Lot number 247. Female. Kumiho hybrid. Age 23. Good health. Can cook. Can clean. Starting price. 100,000 credits. The crowd was silent. Yuna kept her eyes forward. She had learned not to hope. 90,000 credits, the auctioneer said. His voice was already tired. Anyone? 80,000. 70,000. Still nothing. A woman in the front row laughed. She wore expensive clothes covered in jewels. Why would anyone pay for damaged goods? She said loudly. Look at her ears. They do not even match properly. One is slightly bent. Yuna's left ear twitched. It was true. She had been born with one ear slightly crooked. Another flaw. Another reason to lower the price. 60,000 credits, the auctioneer continued. 50,000. Come on, friends. She is young. She is healthy. She can give you many years of service. Service? A man shouted from the middle rows. I heard hybrid foxes are bad luck. My cousin bought one, and his business failed within a year. More laughter. Yuna felt her heart become smaller inside her chest. Every laugh was like a small knife. She had heard these words before. Bad luck. Cursed blood. Worthless. 40,000 credits, the auctioneer said. He was sweating now. 30,000. 20,000. Friends. This is almost free. 20,000 credits for a young, healthy female. The crowd began talking among themselves. They were bored. Some were already looking at their communication devices. The hybrid fox girl was not interesting enough. 15,000 credits. 10,000. Yuna closed her eyes for just a moment. 10,000 credits. That was less than the cost of a used transport vehicle. That was what her life was worth. She remembered her mother's words before she died. You are special, my little fox. The galaxy does not understand you yet. But someday, someone will see your true light. Her mother had been wrong. No one wanted her light. They only saw her shadows. 5,000 credits, the auctioneer said. His voice was flat now. Final offer. 5,000 credits. Anyone? Silence filled the auction hall like cold water. Then a hand went up. Yuna opened her eyes. She looked toward the movement. In the back row, far from the rich buyers in their fancy clothes, a man was raising his hand. He wore a simple brown jacket that looked old and worn. His black hair was cut short in a military style. A thick scar ran down the left side of his face, from his eyebrow to his jaw. He was human. Humans were strange creatures in the galaxy. They had only joined the interstellar community 200 years ago. They had no special powers. They could not read minds like the Valori. They could not change shape like the Kumiho. They could not live for 1,000 years like the Aldrani. But humans had something else. They had survived a terrible war against the Kreth Empire. They had fought when everyone said they would lose. They had won when victory seemed impossible. The galaxy respected humans. The galaxy also feared them a little. 5,000 credits from the human in the back, the auctioneer said. He sounded surprised. Do I hear 6,000? Anyone? 6,000 credits? The rich woman in the front row turned to look at the human. Her face showed disgust. Let him have the broken thing, she said. Humans have no taste anyway. No one else raised their hand. Sold, the auctioneer said. Lot 247 goes to the human gentleman for 5,000 credits. Yuna stood frozen on the platform. Someone had bought her. A human had bought her. She did not know if this was good or bad. The guards came and took off her chain. They led her down the stairs to the payment area. Her legs were shaking, but she walked without falling. The human was waiting there. Up close, she could see more details. He was not young. Maybe in his late 30s. His brown eyes looked tired, like someone who had not slept well for many years. Besides the big scar on his face, she could see smaller scars on his hands, soldiers' hands, fighters' hands. He was looking at a small screen, paying the 5,000 credits from his account. When the payment was done, he looked up at her. Yuna quickly looked down. She had been taught not to meet her buyer's eyes directly. It was considered rude. Hey, the human said. His voice was quiet and calm. You can look at me. I am not going to hurt you. Slowly, Yuna raised her eyes. The human was not smiling, but his face was not cruel either. He just looked normal, ordinary, maybe a little sad. My name is Kang Do-hyun, he said. I was a sergeant in the Terran Defense Corps. Now I am retired. I live alone in a small apartment on the residential deck. It is not fancy, but it is warm and safe. Yuna did not know what to say. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Do-hyun continued. I am not looking for a servant or a bed companion. He stopped and rubbed the back of his neck. He looked uncomfortable. I saw you up there. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was saying cruel things, and I thought no one deserves that. Yuna's eyes became wet. She blinked fast, trying not to cry. I do not have much money, Do-hyun said. My military pension is small. I cannot give you expensive things, but I can give you a place to stay, food to eat, and I promise I will never hurt you or sell you again. Why? Yuna finally managed to speak. Her voice was small and rough. Why would you do this for someone like me? I am just a discounted hybrid. I am bad luck. Everyone says so. Do-hyun looked at her for a long moment. Then he did something unexpected. He laughed. It was a short, quiet laugh. But it was real. Bad luck? He said. I lost my entire unit in the siege of Proxima. 47 soldiers. All dead. I am the only one who survived. Everyone says I am bad luck too. Maybe we can be unlucky together. He held out his hand to her. Just his hand, open and waiting. Yuna looked at his scarred fingers. This human did not want her for her beauty or her bloodline. He was not trying to show off or make a profit. He just saw someone who was alone and hurting. And he decided to help. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. Someday, someone will see your true light. Maybe her mother was not wrong. Maybe she just had to wait longer than she expected. Yuna reached out and took Do-hyun's hand. His grip was firm but gentle. I am Yuna, she said softly. Thank you for choosing me. Do-hyun nodded. Come on, let us go home. They walked out of the auction house together. Behind them, the rich buyers continued their shopping, already forgetting about the discounted fox girl. They did not know that they had just missed something rare. They did not understand what humans understood. Worth is not measured in credits or bloodlines. Worth is measured in the courage to reach out when everyone else turns away. And on that day, in a crowded auction hall on Station Korath, a broken soldier and a discounted bride found something the galaxy had denied them both. They found each other. The registry office was cold and gray. Metal walls, metal floors, Metal chairs bolted to the ground. Everything on Station Korath was metal. Yuna missed the forests of her mother's stories, where trees grew tall and rivers sang soft songs. But there were no forests here. Only papers to sign and officials to satisfy. Do-hyun sat beside her on one of the metal chairs. He had changed into cleaner clothes today. A simple white shirt and dark pants. His military jacket was folded on his lap. He looked nervous, though he tried to hide it. Number 847, a voice called from the counter. "That is us," Do-hyun said. He stood up and waited for Yuna. She rose slowly. Her legs still felt weak. She had not slept well last night. Do-hyun had given her his bedroom, but the bed felt too soft, too strange. She had spent most of the night sitting by the window, looking at the stars outside the station. They walked to the counter together. A thin alien with pale blue skin sat behind the glass. He had 3 eyes, and all of them looked bored. "Purpose of visit?" the official asked, without looking up. "Marriage registration," Do-hyun said. All 3 eyes suddenly focused on them. The official looked at Do-hyun, then at Yuna, then at Do-hyun again. "You want to marry her?" he asked. His voice was strange, like he was hearing a joke. "Yes," Do-hyun said. His voice did not change. The official leaned forward. "Sir, you understand that she is a hybrid? A fox hybrid? And you are human? I know what she is. I know what I am. Can we fill out the forms, please?" The official shrugged. "Your choice. But do not say I did not warn you." He pushed a stack of papers through the slot in the glass. "Fill these out. Both parties must sign. You need 2 witnesses." Do-hyun took the papers. "Thank you." They found a small table in the corner of the office. Do-hyun began filling out his sections. Name, species, planet of origin, employment status. Yuna watched him write. His handwriting was neat and careful. Military training, she guessed. Everything about him was controlled and precise. "You do not have to do this," she said quietly. Do-hyun kept writing. "Do what?" "Marry me. You already saved me from the auction. You do not need to go further. I can be just a worker in your home. A servant. That is what I was trained for." Do-hyun stopped writing. He put down the pen and looked at her. "Yuna," he said, "if I do not marry you, you have no legal protection. Any buyer can come and claim you were stolen property. Any official can send you back to the auction house. But if you are my wife, you become a free citizen of the Terran Commonwealth. No one can touch you." Yuna's golden eyes went wide. "Free? I can be free? That is the law. A spouse of a Terran citizen automatically gets citizenship rights. You will have your own identification card, your own travel documents. You can go anywhere you want, do anything you want." Yuna felt her chest become tight. Free. She had never been free in her entire life. She was born as property. She grew up as property. She was sold and resold like furniture. "But what about you?" she asked. "What do you get from this?" Do-hyun picked up his pen again. "I get to do something good. For the first time in a long while, I get to do something that does not involve death." He finished his section and pushed the papers toward her. "Your turn. Just write your name and make a mark at the bottom." Yuna's hands were shaking as she took the pen. She had learned to write when she was young, but she had not practiced in years. Her letters were clumsy and uneven. When she finished, she looked at her signature. Yuna. Just Yuna. She did not have a family name. Hybrids were not given family names. "After today, you can use my family name if you want," Do-hyun said. He had noticed her looking. Kang Yuna. It sounds nice. Kang Yuna, a real name, a complete name. She could not stop the tears this time. They ran down her cheeks and dripped onto the paper. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am making a mess." "It is fine," Do-hyun said. He offered her a small cloth from his pocket. "Tears are not a mess. They are just feelings that need to escape. She took the cloth and wiped her eyes. Such a simple kindness. Such a small thing. But to her, it meant everything. They took the completed papers back to the counter. The official checked each page with all 3 eyes. He stamped them with a heavy metal tool. Bang. 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 You need witnesses, he said. 2 people to confirm the marriage is real. Do-hyun looked around the registry office. There were other people waiting for their turn. Most of them were looking at their screens, or talking to each other. No one was paying attention to the human and the fox girl. Excuse me, Do-hyun said loudly. Is anyone willing to be a witness for our marriage registration? It will only take a minute. Silence. People looked away. Some pretended they did not hear. One woman actually stood up and walked to a different part of the room. Yuna's ears pressed flat against her head. Of course. No one wanted to be associated with a hybrid marriage. It would bring shame. It would bring gossip. Please, Do-hyun said. His voice was still calm. We just need 2 signatures. Nothing. Then, from the back of the room, a voice spoke up. I will do it. Everyone turned to look. An old woman was standing up from her chair. She was human, with white hair tied in a neat bun. Her face was wrinkled but kind. She walked toward them with slow, careful steps. I am Grandmother Bora, she said. I have been married for 62 years. My husband passed away last month. I came here today to update his death records. She smiled at Yuna. I think he would like me to help a young couple start their journey together. Thank you, Do-hyun said. He bowed his head slightly. We are grateful. Grandmother Bora signed her name on the witness line. Her handwriting was beautiful and flowing, like art. Now you need one more, the official said. He still looked bored, but maybe a little less than before. Silence again. Then a heavy footstep. A large figure pushed through the crowd. He was a Krovan, a species known for their great size and strength. This one was almost 3 meters tall, with gray skin and 4 thick arms. He wore workers' clothes covered in grease stains. Everyone moved away from him. Krovans had a reputation for being rough and dangerous. But this one walked straight to the counter and looked down at Do-hyun. You are Terran Defense Corps? He asked. His voice was deep like thunder. Do-hyun nodded. Retired Sergeant, 47th Infantry. The Krovan made a strange sound in his throat. Then he reached out with one massive hand and touched his own chest. Right over his heart. My brother served with humans in the war, he said. Battle of Broken Moon. Your people saved him when everyone else ran away. He always said humans were different. Humans stayed. He picked up the pen, which looked tiny in his huge fingers, and signed his name on the second witness line. Good luck to you both, the Krovan said. Then he walked away without another word. Grandmother Bora smiled. Well, it seems you have more friends than you knew. The official checked the papers one final time. He stamped them again. Then he handed 2 small cards to Do-hyun. Marriage certificates, he said. One for each of you. Congratulations. He did not sound like he meant it. But the word was still there. Do-hyun gave one card to Yuna. She held it with both hands, like it was made of glass. Her name was printed there. Kang Yuna. Species, Kumiho hybrid. Status, married. Citizenship, Terran Commonwealth. I am real, she whispered. I am a real person now. Do-hyun put his own card in his pocket. You were always real. Now the galaxy just has to admit it. They walked out of the registry office together. The station corridors were crowded with people from dozens of different species. No one looked at them. No one cared about a human and a fox girl walking side by side. But Yuna felt different. She walked a little taller. Her ears stood up a little straighter. She was not property anymore. She was a citizen. A wife. A person with a name. When they reached Do-hyun's apartment, he opened the door and stepped aside to let her enter first. Welcome home, he said. For real this time. Yuna stepped inside. The apartment was small. 1 bedroom. One bathroom, a tiny kitchen, a living area, with an old couch, and a screen on the wall. But it was warm, and it was safe, and it was hers now too. I do not know how to be a wife, she admitted. I do not know what you expect from me. Do-hyun closed the door behind them. I do not expect anything. I am not good at being a husband either. I have never been married before. I do not even know how to take care of another person. I barely know how to take care of myself. I barely know how to take care of myself. He sat down on the old couch. It made a creaking sound under his weight. But we can learn, he said. Together. No pressure. No rush. Just two people trying to figure things out. Yuna looked at him. This strange human who had bought her for 5,000 credits. This scarred soldier who had given her freedom and a name. He asked for nothing in return. He promised nothing, except safety. Her mother had told her stories about humans, how they were weak but brave, how they were short-lived but burned bright, how they loved fiercely and fought harder. She had not believed those stories. She thought they were just fairy tales. But now, looking at Kang Do-hyun sitting on his old couch in his small apartment, she began to wonder. Maybe the stories were true. Maybe humans really were different. And maybe, just maybe, she had finally found her place in the galaxy. Not as property, not as a discount item, not as bad luck, but as Kang Yuna, wife, citizen, person. She sat down on the other end of the couch, leaving space between them. It was awkward. It was strange. But it was a beginning. And sometimes, a beginning is all you need. 3 weeks passed. Yuna learned many things about her human husband in those weeks. She learned that he woke up early every morning, before the artificial sun of the station turned on. She learned that he drank his coffee black, without sugar or cream. She learned that he read old books on his screen, stories about Earth before humans went to the stars. She also learned that he did not sleep well. Every night, she heard him on the couch, moving, turning, sometimes talking in his sleep. His words were broken and scared. Names she did not know. Places she had never heard of. Fall back. Cover fire. They are coming. She never said anything about it. She did not know how. But on the 23rd night, everything changed. Yuna woke up to a sound. A loud crash from the living room. She jumped out of bed and ran to the door. When she opened it, she saw Do-hyun on the floor. The small table near the couch was knocked over. His eyes were wide open. But he was not seeing the apartment. He was seeing something else. Something far away and terrible. "Get down," he shouted. His voice was rough and broken. "They are breaking through the line. Where is the backup? Where is the backup?" He was shaking. His whole body was shaking like a leaf in a storm. Sweat covered his face. His hands were making fists, grabbing at the floor like he was trying to hold a weapon. Yuna stood frozen. She had seen fear before. She had felt fear before. But this was different. This was a man fighting a war that ended years ago. Fighting enemies that were not there. She did not know what to do. Then she remembered something her mother told her once, about the old ways of the Kumiho, how they would comfort their families during dark times, how their tales were not just for beauty, but for warmth and protection. She had hidden her tales for so long. She was ashamed of them. Too many tales meant impure blood. It meant she was wrong. Broken. But looking at Do-hyun on the floor, lost in his nightmare, she did not care about being wrong. She let her tales unfurl from beneath her sleeping robe, all 9 of them, silver and soft, glowing faintly in the dim light. Then she walked to him slowly, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. "Do-hyun," she said softly. "Do-hyun, can you hear me? Do-hyun, can you hear me?" He did not respond. His eyes were still seeing the war. She knelt down beside him. Her tails spread out around them both, forming a circle of silver fur. Then, gently, she wrapped them around his body, one by one, layer by layer, until he was covered in warmth. "You are safe," she whispered. "The war is over. You are home. You are safe. Do-hyun's shaking began to slow. His breathing became less wild. His fists loosened. The soldiers, he mumbled. I could not save them. I tried. I tried so hard. I know, Yuna said. She did not understand the details. But she understood pain. You did everything you could. It was not your fault. His eyes finally focused. He looked at her. Then he looked at the silver tails wrapped around him. For a moment, Yuna was afraid. Would he be disgusted? Would he push her away? Everyone else did when they saw her tails. But Do-hyun did not push her away. You are warm, he said quietly. His voice was tired and broken, but there was wonder in it too. I did not know fox tails were so warm. Yuna felt tears in her eyes again. Stupid tears. She cried too much these days. It is an old Kumiho tradition, she said. When family members are hurt or scared, we wrap them in our tails. It is supposed to bring comfort. I do not know if it works for humans. Do-hyun closed his eyes. His body relaxed completely, sinking into the floor and her tails. It works, he said. It definitely works. They stayed like that for a long time. Yuna did not move. She kept her tails around him, keeping him warm and safe. Eventually, his breathing became slow and regular. He was asleep. Real sleep. Peaceful sleep. Yuna watched his face. The scar on his cheek looked less harsh when he was relaxed. She could imagine what he looked like before the war. Young, hopeful, full of dreams. What happened to that young man? What did he see that broke him so badly? She did not ask. She would wait until he wanted to tell her. When the artificial morning light came on, Do-hyun opened his eyes. He was still on the floor. Yuna was still beside him, though her tails had gone back under her robe. She had not slept at all. I am sorry, he said immediately. He sat up slowly, rubbing his face. I did not mean to scare you. The nightmares. They come and go. I should have warned you. Do not apologize, Yuna said. Everyone has bad dreams. I have them too. Do-hyun looked at her. You do? Sometimes I dream that I am back on the auction platform. The lights are too bright. Everyone is laughing. And the price keeps going down. 0 credits. Negative credits. I owe them money for existing. She tried to smile, but it came out crooked. Do-hyun reached out and took her hand. His grip was gentle. We are both broken, aren't we? He said. The galaxy broke us and threw us away. Maybe, Yuna said. But broken things can still be useful. My mother used to collect broken pottery. She would fix them with gold paint. She said the cracks made them more beautiful. Not less. Do-hyun thought about this. Gold paint. I like that. He stood up slowly. His body was stiff from sleeping on the hard floor. He stretched his arms above his head. And Yuna heard his joints crack. I have not told anyone about the nightmares, he said. Not even the military doctors. I was afraid they would think I was weak, unfit for duty. You are not weak, Yuna said firmly. You survived. That takes strength. Surviving is not the hard part, Do-hyun said. He walked to the kitchen and began making coffee. Living after surviving. That is the hard part. Finding a reason to wake up every day. Finding something to care about. Oath Rand. The coffee maker hummed softly. The smell filled the small apartment. It was a warm smell, a safe smell. Did you find a reason? Yuna asked. Do-hyun poured 2 cups. He brought one to her, then sat down on the couch with his own. I think maybe I did, he said. 3 weeks ago. On an auction platform. Yuna felt her cheeks become hot. She looked down at her coffee cup, unable to meet his eyes. I am not much of a reason, she said. I am just a discounted hybrid. Stop saying that. His voice was not angry, but it was firm. Yuna looked up in surprise. You keep calling yourself discounted, Do-hyun said. Broken. Bad luck. But that is what they told you, not who you are. You are kind. You stayed with me all night, even though you were scared. You used your tales to comfort me even though you hate showing them. That is not broken. That is brave. Yuna did not know what to say. No one had ever called her brave before. I want to tell you something, Do-hyun said. He put down his coffee cup. About the siege of Proxima. About why I have nightmares. Team 2, you do not have to, Yuna said quickly. It is your story. You can keep it private. Yuna, I know. But I want to tell you. Because you shared your tales with me. I want to share something with you too. He took a deep breath. Proxima 4 was a colony world, 50,000 civilians, farmers, teachers, children. The Kreeth Empire decided to attack it because it was close to their border. They sent 3 battle cruisers. We had 1 small defense station and 200 soldiers. He paused. His hands were tight around his coffee cup. The battle lasted 4 days. On the first day, we lost half our forces. On the second day, we ran out of heavy weapons. On the third day, reinforcements were supposed to arrive. They never came. Yuna listened silently. She could feel the pain in his words. On the 4th day, I made a decision. I took 47 volunteers and we attacked the Kreeth command ship directly. A suicide mission. We knew we would die. But if we could destroy their commander, the other ships might retreat. His voice became very quiet. The mission worked. The Kreeth commander died. Their ships pulled back. The colony was saved. But my soldiers, all 47 of them, they did not come back. Only I survived. I do not even know why. Luck. Chance. Some cosmic joke. He looked at Yuna. His eyes were wet, but no tears fell. 47 people. They had families. Dreams. Lives. And they followed me into death because I asked them to. Every night, I see their faces. Every night, I wonder why I am still here, and they are not. Yuna put down her coffee cup. She moved across the couch and sat beside him, close, their shoulders touching. They followed you because they believed in you, she said. They chose to fight. They chose to protect those 50,000 people. That was their decision. Not yours, but I led them there, and they chose to follow. There is a difference. Do-hyun was silent for a long moment. Then, he let out a long breath, like he had been holding it for years. You know what the worst part is? He said. The galaxy calls me a hero. They gave me medals. They put my name on a memorial wall. But I do not feel like a hero. I feel like a ghost. Yuna took his hand again. Then we are both ghosts, she said. Ghosts that the galaxy forgot. But ghosts can still find each other. Ghosts can still be warm. She let one tail slip out from her robe. Just one. She wrapped it around his shoulders like a silver scarf. Is this okay? She asked. Do-hyun closed his eyes and leaned into the warmth. Yes, he said. This is more than okay. Outside the apartment, the station continued its endless turning through space. Thousands of people lived their busy lives, never knowing or caring about the 2 broken souls finding peace in a small room. But inside, something was growing. Not love, not yet. It was too early for that word, but something. Understanding, trust, connection. 2 people who had been told they were worthless, finding worth in each other. And sometimes, that is how the best stories begin. Not with grand adventures or epic battles, but with 2 people sitting together, drinking coffee, sharing warmth, learning that they are not alone. 2 months after the wedding, their peaceful life was broken. Yuna was in the kitchen, cooking dinner. She had learned that Do-hyun liked simple food. Rice. Vegetables. Sometimes fish if they had extra credits that week. She was not a great cook, but she was getting better. Do-hyun was sitting on the couch, reading one of his old Earth stories. It was about a man who traveled across a desert to find water for his village. He said it reminded him of his grandfather. The door alarm beeped. They both looked up. They were not expecting visitors. They never had visitors. Do-hyun stood and walked to the door panel. He pressed the button to show the camera outside. His face became hard like stone. Stay in the kitchen, he said quietly. Do not come out until I tell you. What is wrong? Yuna asked. Her ears flattened against her head. She could feel danger. Just stay there. Please. He opened the door. 3 figures stood outside. 2 were large aliens in black armor. Guards. Professional ones. Between them stood a man in expensive clothes. He was tall and thin, with pale skin and black hair pulled back in a neat tail. His eyes were cold like deep space. Yuna recognized him immediately. Lord Han Tyson, her previous owner. Her blood turned to ice. Sergeant Kang, Lord Taesun said. His voice was smooth and polite. Too polite. May I come in? We have business to discuss. I do not think we do, Do-hyun said. He did not move from the doorway. You can say whatever you need to say from there. Lord Tyson smiled. It was not a nice smile. Very well. I will be direct. You have something that belongs to me, the Fox hybrid. I want her back. She is not yours anymore. I bought her legally at auction. Ah, yes. The auction. Lord Taesun made a small gesture with his hand. One of the guards handed him a datapad. I have looked into that transaction. It seems there was an irregularity. The auction house did not have proper authority to sell her. She was only supposed to be displayed, not sold. A clerical error, you understand. Do-hyun's eyes narrowed. That is a lie. Perhaps, but it is a lie with documentation. Lord Taesun held up the datapad. I have filed a claim with the station authority. They will review the case and return my property within 30 days. I simply wanted to give you warning, so you can prepare yourself. She is not property. She is my wife. Lord Taesun laughed. Actually laughed. The sound was ugly. Your wife? How charming. How very human. He leaned forward, his cold eyes gleaming. But surely you know that hybrid marriages can be annulled if the original ownership claim was invalid. The law is clear on this. Once I prove that the sale was fraudulent, your marriage means nothing. Yuna's legs gave out. She fell to her knees in the kitchen, her whole body shaking. She could not breathe. The nightmare was happening again. She was going back. Back to the auction. Back to the shame. Back to him. I will fight this, Do-hyun said. His voice was calm, but Yuna could hear the steel underneath. I will take it to every court in the galaxy if I have to. Fight all you want, Lord Taesun said, but you are just a retired soldier with a tiny pension. I am the head of the Han Trading Company. I have lawyers who cost more per hour than you earn in a year. This is not a battle you can win. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. When I get her back, I will make sure she understands the cost of embarrassing me. The punishment for runaway property is educational. Understand? He walked away. His guards followed. The door closed with a soft click. Do-hyun stood still for a long moment. Then he turned and rushed to the kitchen. Yuna was on the floor, curled into a ball. Her 9 tails were wrapped tightly around her body, like she was trying to disappear inside them. Yuna. Do-hyun knelt beside her. Yuna. Look at me. She could not look. She could not speak. The fear was too big. He is lying, Do-hyun said. That claim about the auction is fake. I checked every document before I signed. There was no irregularity. He is making it up. It does not matter, Yuna whispered. Her voice was broken. He is rich. He has power. The courts will believe whatever he wants them to believe. This always happens. The rich win. The poor lose. And people like me, we go back to being things. No. Do-hyun's voice was firm. I will not let that happen. You cannot stop it. No one can. Do-hyun gently pulled her tails apart and lifted her face to look at him. His brown eyes were fierce with something she had never seen before. Listen to me, he said. I have lost many battles in my life. I lost friends. I lost hope. I lost pieces of myself that I will never get back. But I have never surrendered someone I care about, and I am not going to start now. Yuna stared at him. You care about me? Of course I do. You are my wife. You are my family. The only family I have left. He wiped a tear from her cheek. I know I am not good at saying these things, but when you wrapped your tails around me that night, when you stayed with me through the nightmares, I felt something I have not felt in years. Peace. Hope. Like maybe the universe was not completely terrible after all. He helped her stand up. We will fight this together, he said. And if we lose, we will run. We will go somewhere they cannot find us. I still have contacts from my military days. People who owe me favors. We are not helpless. Yuna looked at this human. This strange, scarred, broken human who had bought her for 5,000 credits and never asked for anything in return. Why? She asked. Why are you doing all this for me? Do-hyun was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. Because when I was lying in the dirt on Proxima 4, surrounded by the bodies of my friends, I made a promise. I promised that if I survived, I would spend the rest of my life protecting people. Not attacking, not destroying, protecting. I did not know what that meant until I saw you on that auction platform. Now I know. The tribunal hearing was 3 weeks later. The room was large and official. 3 judges sat at the front. Lord Taesun sat at one table with 5 expensive lawyers. Do-hyun sat at another table alone. Yuna was not allowed inside. She waited in the corridor, guarded by station security. Her status was disputed property. Until the tribunal decided, she could hear voices through the door. Lord Taesun's lawyers presenting their evidence. Documents. Statements. Expert opinions. Everything designed to prove that the auction was invalid. Then Do-hyun's voice. Calm. Steady. Presenting his own evidence. The original auction receipt. The registration documents. The marriage certificate. The tribunal asked questions. Do-hyun answered. Hours passed. Finally, the door opened. A guard motioned for Yuna to enter. She walked in on shaking legs. Lord Taesun was smiling. His lawyers were packing their bags. They looked confident. Do-hyun was standing. His face showed nothing. The head judge, an old Aldrani with silver skin, spoke. This tribunal has reviewed all evidence presented by both parties. The claim that the auction was fraudulent is based on documents that appear to have been recently created. The authentication codes do not match standard formats. Lord Taesun's smile flickered. However, the judge continued, the claimant is a respected member of the business community. His word carries weight. This tribunal finds the evidence inconclusive. We cannot definitively rule for either party. Yuna's heart sank. Therefore, the judge said, we will schedule a full hearing in the High Court, where both parties can present additional evidence. Until then, the subject hybrid will be held in station custody. No. Do-hyun's voice cut through the room. Everyone looked at him. With respect to the tribunal, Do-hyun said, I invoke the right of personal testimony. As a veteran of the Terran Defense Corps with the Medal of Valor, I have the right to speak directly to the court before any ruling is enforced. The judges looked at each other. The head judge nodded slowly. The right is recognized. You may speak. Do-hyun walked to the center of the room. He stood straight, like the soldier he once was. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a small box. He opened it. Inside were medals. Dozens of them. Gold and silver and bronze. Ribbons of every color. They caught the light and sparkled like stars. These are my service medals, Do-hyun said. The Medal of Valor, the Star of Terra, the Silver Shield. I earned them fighting for the safety of innocent people. People I never met. People who never knew my name. He turned to face Lord Taesun. I fought beside every species humanity has encountered. Krovans, Aldrani, Valori, even some Kumiho. In battle, I learned something important. Blood does not matter. Genetics do not matter. What matters is courage. What matters is honor. What matters is standing up for those who cannot stand for themselves. His voice rose. This woman is my wife. She has done nothing wrong except exist in a galaxy that hates her for how she was born. Is that fair? Is that just? Because I have seen the face of evil. I have fought against cruelty and destruction, and the man standing before you, with his expensive lawyers and fake documents, is no different from the Kreeth commanders I killed on Proxima 4. Lord Tysoon stood up. How dare you? I dare because I am still a soldier. Do-hyun's eyes were blazing now. I dare because I watched 47 of my brothers and sisters die to protect innocent lives. And I will not stand here and let you take my wife back into slavery. He turned back to the judges. You want evidence that the auction was valid? Fine. Check the auction house records. Check the payment logs. Check every document with independent verification. You will find that everything is correct, but even if you do not find that, even if every piece of evidence says I am wrong, I will still fight. Because some things are more important than law. Some things are more important than politics. Some things are worth dying for. The room was silent. Then the head judge spoke. Sergeant Kang. This tribunal respects your service and your passion. But we must follow the law. I understand, Do-hyun said. But the law should serve justice. If the law allows a rich man to fake documents and steal a free citizen, then the law is broken. The judge looked at Lord Tysoon. Then at Do-hyun. Then at Yuna. We will recess for 1 hour, the judge said. During that time, we will conduct an independent verification of all documents. If any fraud is discovered, criminal charges will be filed against the fraudulent party. Lord Tysoon's face went pale. 1 hour later, the tribunal reconvened. We have completed our verification, the head judge announced. The documents presented by the claimant contain multiple irregularities, consistent with recent forgery. The original auction records are authentic and valid. Lord Tysoon stood up. This is outrageous. I demand. You demand nothing, the judge said coldly. Lord Han Tysoon, you are hereby charged with document fraud, attempted enslavement of a free citizen, and contempt of this tribunal. Guards, take him into custody. The guards moved forward. Lord Tysoon tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. You will pay for this, he screamed at Do-hyun. You and that half-breed monster. I will destroy you both. The guards dragged him away. His threats faded into the distance. The head judge turned to Do-hyun and Yuna. Kang Yuna is confirmed as a legal citizen of the Terran Commonwealth. Her marriage is valid. This matter is closed. Yuna's legs gave out again. But this time, Do-hyun was there to catch her. We won, she whispered. We actually won. Do-hyun held her tight. I told you, he said. I never surrender the people I care about. And there, in the cold tribunal room, surrounded by judges and guards and the echoes of angry threats, Yuna finally believed him. Humans really were different. Humans stayed. The station's artificial rain began just as they left the tribunal building. Station Korath had weather systems to make the residents feel more at home. Once a week, soft rain fell from the ceiling panels in the main corridors. It was not real rain, of course, just recycled water sprayed through tiny machines, but it looked real. It sounded real. It even smelled a little like real rain. Yuna stood under the falling drops, letting them touch her face. She had not felt rain since she was a child. Her mother used to take her outside during storms on the forest planet where she was born. They would dance together in the water, laughing and spinning. You are getting wet, Do-hyun said. He was standing under a small shelter nearby. You will catch cold. I do not care, Yuna said. She opened her arms wide and tilted her head back. I am free. I can get wet if I want to. Do-hyun watched her for a moment. Then, slowly, he stepped out from under the shelter. The rain immediately soaked his hair and his clothes. But he did not seem to notice. He walked to her and stood beside her in the rain. You are right, he said. Getting wet is not so bad. They stood there together as the water fell around them. Other people hurried past, running to find cover. Nobody stopped to enjoy the rain. Nobody, except a scarred human veteran and his fox hybrid wife. After a while, Yuna turned to look at him. Her silver hair was flat against her face. Her golden eyes were bright. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why did you raise your hand?" Do-hyun looked confused. "What do you mean?" "At the auction, when the price dropped to 5,000 credits. Everyone else ignored me. Everyone else walked away. But you raised your hand. Why?" Do-hyun was quiet for a long moment. The rain kept falling. A small river formed on the metal floor and flowed toward a drain. "I was not planning to go to the auction that day," he finally said. "I was just walking through the market district, buying supplies, food, coffee, the usual things. Then I heard the crowd laughing. I looked up and saw you on the platform." He paused. "You were standing so straight. Your ears were pressed down, but your back was straight. Everyone was saying cruel things, but you did not cry. You did not beg. You just stood there, facing them, taking everything they threw at you." He turned to look at her. "I recognize that look. I have seen it in the mirror every morning for the past 10 years. The look of someone who has lost everything but refuses to break completely." Yuna felt tears mixing with the rain on her face. "And then I thought about my soldiers," Do-hyun continued. "The 47 who died on Proxima 4. Every single one of them had that same look before the final battle. They knew they would not survive, but they went anyway. Because giving up was not an option." He reached out and took her hand. His skin was cold from the rain, but his grip was warm. "When I saw you up there, I did not think about money, or convenience, or anything logical. I just thought, I cannot let another person break while I stand and watch. Not again. Never again." Yuna squeezed his hand tightly. "You saved me," she whispered. "No." Do-hyun shook his head. "You saved yourself. You survived years of cruelty and never gave up. I just gave you a chance to rest." The rain began to slow. The artificial storm was ending. Soon the ceiling panels would switch to artificial sunlight, and the station would return to its normal routine. But something had changed between them. Something that could not be undone. "Do-hyun," Yuna said. "Can I tell you something?" "Anything." She took a deep breath. Her 9 tails unfurled behind her, spreading out like silver wings. She did not hide them anymore. She was done hiding. "When I was a child, my mother told me a story about a fox who fell in love with a human. The other foxes said it was impossible. They said foxes and humans were too different. They could never understand each other." She looked at her tails, then back at him. But the fox did not listen. She loved the human anyway, and the human loved her back. They built a house together in the mountains. They raised a family. They grew old side by side. And when people asked how they made it work, the fox always said the same thing. "What did she say?" Yuna smiled. It was a real smile. The first real smile she had given in years. She said, "Love is not about being the same. Love is about choosing each other. Every day, even when it is hard. Especially when it is hard." She stepped closer to him. So close that she could feel his breath on her face. "I did not understand that story when I was young, but I think I understand it now." Do-hyun's eyes were soft. The scars on his face did not look so harsh anymore. He looked like a man who was finally finding peace. "Yuna," he said quietly, "I am not good at this. I have been alone for so long. I have forgotten how to be close to someone. I might make mistakes. I might say the wrong things. I might." She stopped him by pressing one of her tails gently against his lips. "Shh," she said. "I am not asking you to be perfect. I am asking you to choose me. Every day. Even when it is hard." She said. "Amalta Diuz." She said. She said. She said. "Amalta Diuz me. Amalta Diuz me. Amalta Diuz me now." She said. She moved her tail away. "Can you do that?" Do-hyun looked at her. this strange, beautiful fox girl who had appeared in his life like a gift he did not deserve. He thought about all the years of loneliness, all the nightmares, all the guilt. He thought about how empty his apartment had felt before she arrived, how full it felt now. Yes, he said, I can do that. And then he did something he had never done before. He kissed her. It was a gentle kiss, soft and warm, like the first ray of sunlight after a long winter. Yuna closed her eyes and leaned into him, her tails wrapping around them both like a silver cocoon. When they finally pulled apart, the rain had stopped completely. The artificial sun was beginning to glow through the ceiling panels. The station was waking up around them, but they did not move. They just stood there, holding each other. Two broken people who had found something precious in each other's cracks. We should go home, Do-hyun said eventually. You need dry clothes. And I need coffee. Yuna laughed. It was a light, happy sound, like bells ringing in the wind. You always need coffee. I am human. Coffee is essential for our species. They walked home together, hand in hand. Yuna's tails swayed behind her, visible to everyone. She did not care anymore. Let them stare. Let them whisper. She was done being ashamed of who she was. When they reached the apartment, Do-hyun opened the door and stepped aside to let her enter first, just like he had done on that first day. But this time, Yuna paused. Thank you, she said. For what? For seeing me, the real me, not the discounted hybrid, not the bad luck fox, just me. Do-hyun smiled. It was a rare expression on his face, but it was beautiful. Thank you for staying, he said, for helping me remember that some things are worth fighting for. They went inside together. The door closed behind them. Outside, the station continued its endless journey through space. Millions of beings lived their lives, chasing money and power and status. They measured worth in credits, and bloodlines, and social position. But inside a small apartment on the residential deck, two people had discovered a different kind of worth. The worth of being chosen. The worth of being seen. The worth of finding someone who looks at your broken pieces and says, these are beautiful. I want them all. In the following years, stories spread across the galaxy. Stories about a human veteran who married a hybrid fox girl. Stories about their love, their struggles, their quiet life on Station Korath. Some people laughed at the stories. Some people said they were lies, but others listened closely. Others remembered the stories and carried them forward. And when other hybrid children stood on auction platforms, being called discounted and worthless, they would sometimes hear a whisper in their minds. A whisper that said, somewhere out there, a human looked at a fox girl like you and said, I will. And they lived happily ever after. Maybe it can happen to you too. Maybe someday, someone will see your true light. Do not give up. Not yet. Not ever. Because in a galaxy of billions of souls, there is always someone who will choose you. You just have to survive long enough to find them. And Yuna did. And Do-hyun did. And they found each other. And that, perhaps, is the greatest story of all. Not the story of war heroes or powerful nobles, but the story of two discounted hearts that found their true price in each other, forever.